Hello friends, welcome to another chapter of Excel training. Today in this chapter we'll learn about a very important function in Excel called as data validation. Okay, so far we have learned a lot of things about the data, the just basic knowledge of Excel and how to format cells, how to enter data, how to use formulas and a lot of other stuff. Okay, now everything is fine, but when when we make Excel sheets, many a times we also need to share these Excel sheets with the outside world. Or let me give you an example. Suppose you have made an Excel sheet pertaining to some situation in your company, and then you share that Excel sheet with your boss so that he can review it and give his comments or feedback. But many a times what happens that, suppose if you are sharing your Excel sheet with some other person, and let's assume that person is not that great with Excel, and even if even if he even if the other person by mistake enters some wrong value or maybe copy pastes some wrong thing, all your data, all your calculation will be gone, because in most of the cases, like when you talk about big worksheets, all of them are linked. Okay, a lot of links are there. So basically, data validation, what data validation can do, with data validation you can easily prevent people from entering the wrong data in a cell, or at least you can warn them when they do so. So basically, in data validation, in this lecture we'll learn about some basics, then we'll also do some examples. Okay, now let's assume. Now, first let's have a look at the data validation dialog box. For that, you have to go to data and click on data validation. Okay, see, now you can see three tabs over here: settings, input message, and error alert. First, let us talk about the settings tab. So basically, setting tab is the one which specify what values are allowed in a particular cell. Okay, like you have a complete range, we'll come to it later on. So just remember this thing, that settings tab is the one which specifies what value should come in a particular cell. Okay, the simplest possible type can include a whole number, decimal, date, time, text, or maybe some other type of values like custom and lists. Okay, so basically settings is for uh, finalizing what kind of value should come in a particular cell. Okay, now when we talk about the input message, now once we have added data type rules, like whether the data which we'll be entering, whether it will be a text or a whole number or a date or whatever, basically it's a nice to give the person using our workbook a fair warning. Okay, so like if you can see over here, show input message when cell is selected. Whenever somebody selects a particular cell, like I'll just show you, so a information or a input message will come. Like in this case, the input message is hello, enter number between 28 and 78. If I just go to the data validation for this particular cell, so in case of input message, what we have done, we are allowing whole numbers between 28 and 78, and in the input message we have mentioned title as hello and input message as enter number between 28 and 78. It works some kind of an, what we say, cell comment. Like whenever we put any cell comment, like suppose if we put over here uh, enter data, okay, and if we click show comment, okay, so it works to some extent like a cell comment. when we select the particular cell. So this is basically regarding the input message. And the next one which we have is the error alert. Now suppose if somebody, even by mistake, like many times whatever happens that even by your best attempts, somewhere someone will probably still type the wrong information in a cell. They will just defy the input messages. Okay, they won't see that the number which you need to put is 28 and 78. Still he will try to put some number. Okay, now let me just try maybe 90. So error will give this kind of an error alert. Okay, so in case of error alert, we have basically, like we have mentioned over here, show error alert after invalid data is entered. When user enters invalid data, show this error alert. Style stop. You have three options: stop, warning and information. So basically stop, in case of stop, Excel displays the error message along with a retry and cancel button. Okay, the person using the workbook must click cancel to reverse the change. Like if I press 90 over here, two buttons are there. Either I can retry, again I'll go to the edit mode, or I can cancel it. Okay, if I click on cancel, the changes which I have done, it will be reversed. Okay, now let me just use the other one, maybe warning, and now I press 90. Okay, the value you entered is not valid. A user has restricted value that can be entered in this cell. Continue. Okay, so this is the message if I click on the warning. So it is this error message includes yes and no button. Okay, clicking yes makes Excel accept the data entered into a cell even though it is broken the validation rules. If I click yes, still Excel will accept this data even though it is breaking the validation rules. So that is why if the worksheet in which we strictly want there should not be any value other than the values which we have specified in the settings tab, we should use stop. Okay, in case of information, like the third one which you saw over here, it is information. And now let's assume I put 90. So the value you entered is not valid. So the error message comes with a cancel and an OK button. Clicking OK enters the new invalid data in the cell. Cancel leaves the cell unchanged. Okay, but I'm just make it maybe 45. Okay. Now suppose if you have to specify a data validation rule for a particular cell, what you have to do, like for this cell, the rule is enter any value. Okay, so go to data validation tab, settings, any value. You need not do anything. So I can put any value, there won't be any issue. Like same is the case with this. Okay, only numbers is wrong, so it is actually any value. I can put any value in this particular cell. Okay, now see, enter a number between 28 and 72. Let's do it over here. Data validation, settings, any value, but I'm saying whole number, and that too. See, when you select a whole number, you have options like between, not between, greater to, not equal to, greater than, less than. So you can select the option as per your requirement. Let's assume I'll select between, minimum 28, press tab, and maybe 72. I think I have mentioned, yeah, 72. Okay, input message, hello, enter data between 28 and 72. And if someone tries to break this rule, stop him. Stop. No need to enter wrong data. Okay. Now, as soon as I select the cell, I'll get the information message that hello, enter data between 28 and 72. Maybe I can enter 67. It will accept the data. But as soon as I try to put data as 90, it will say no need to enter wrong data. If I do cancel, again the value will be the value which I had entered, that will be reversed and the older value will again come. Okay. Now, in this cell we learn about how to enter a date. Again, go to settings. You can see the allow symbol over here. You can, one sec, you can select the any value, whole number, decimal, list I'll come to later, time, text length, custom. Okay, you can select any of the values. Let's say I select date, and I select date between, so I'm not able to see this few dates I have mentioned over here. Yeah. Now, if I say data validation date between, I'll just select the cell straight away, this and this. Okay. Now what I am instructing Excel that I should be able to enter any date between this to this in this cell. I think I forgot to mention the data validation rules. Yeah, input messages, enter data, enter date, between 1/1/2012 and 12/31/2012 and stop. Okay, so enter date between 1/1/2012 and 12/31/2012. Let's assume if I put 3/4/2012, Excel is allowing me to enter the date. If instead of this 12 I'll just make it 13, Excel won't allow me to enter the data. Okay, so this is the way how data validation prevents entry of wrong data in your worksheet and helps your worksheet to become foolproof, so that whenever you are circulating your worksheet with other people, it should not get spoiled, or it should not take you double the time to rectify the errors which others have made. Okay, so that is why many times it's quite important for you to give some validation rules. I'll just first cover this thing, this enter text, then I'll give you one more example why data validation is important. Now over here the condition is enter text of given length, so we are saying that more than 5 characters. I just click over here only, text length greater than 5. Okay, let's assume if I put maybe EXCE or EXCL, short form for Excel, it won't allow me to enter the data. Okay, so this was just some basic stuff regarding the data validation. Now one practical issue I'll just describe you, or maybe just share with you. Many times, like, what happens that, suppose let's assume you are working in a marketing firm of a marketing department of a particular company, and you are asking your branch people to send you some data. Okay, and later on what your job is to consolidate that data and find out some patterns out of that data. Okay, now Suppose if maybe you are working in some what we say, maybe a company which produces electricity, and you wanted to know about the installed capacities of various competitors in the entire country at different locations. So you ask your sales team to give you data in megawatts, okay, like 120 megawatt or 340 megawatt or 450 megawatt or 1000 megawatts. Okay, they need to give you the installed capacity of various competitors in megawatts. Now let's assume person A from some particular state, he defines megawatt as MW. Okay, person from state B, he defines megawatt as MEWAWETT, megawatt. Person C from another city, he defines megawatt as megawatts. Now just imagine if you have around 50 or 100 sales people and you have so many competitors. Every word is different. It is MW, it is megawatt, it is megawatts. Okay, so you have to give some solution to them so that whenever they select the data across across whole country, they should select megawatts in the same way. Okay, so this is where the lists to come into picture. Okay, now suppose you want sales for all these months from some, maybe from your dealer or something like that, maybe anything it can be. Now if I write it Jan, another person will write Jan, UARY, just excuse me for my spellings. Another one will write first month, second month, third month, fourth month. It will become very difficult and very tiresome for us to combine the data, and it don't serve any purpose. So for that, what you have to do, we'll just learn about something called as lists. So allow lists, source, select the data. Sorry, I just, instead of doing it over here, I'll just do it over here. Yeah, data validation, lists, select the data, okay, I'll just color this cell. Yeah, now if you just click on over here, you can see a nice drag down button. Okay, now if somebody is selecting Feb, he cannot change this value to maybe 10. He cannot do that because the data validation rules are already being applied. So he has to select a value from either Jan, Feb, March or April. So this is the way you can foolproof your data. This is the way you basically make the lists. Now in this case, just one variation I just want to share with you is, like, if I go to data validation and click over here, the source is in this particular sheet, that is B8 and B19. So source is given on this particular sheet only. And now let's assume the data source is over here and you need to make a list over here. Let's try data validation, list. Excel is not allowing me to go to that sheet 4 and select data from that sheet. So what you have to do, so in this case our named range, we have already learned about named ranges, so that funda will come into picture. So what you have to do, Control C, Control V. Okay, you have to just select the cells which you require in a data range, in a data validation list. Go over here and make it a named range, maybe sales months. Okay, so whenever you select this date range, it will be why does not come, sales months, enter. So whenever you select this data, it will show sales months as the, what we say, named name of the range. Now suppose if you want a data range over here in the form of list, what you have made it over here. So data validation list equal to sales month. Sales, I think it's months, sales months. Okay, so you have this nicely made customized drop down kind of a box which you can use to specify the data in any particular cell. Okay, like September, October. Okay, so this is the way you can use your list function in data validation. Okay, now till now we have covered this one, this one, this one, this one. Okay, now just come to some more simple examples. So I think these 4 examples are quite clear, and you have just at least basically understood why data validation is important and why we should not allow others to manipulate or enter wrong information into our data sheet. Now we'll just learn about some special conditions. Now the condition over here is enter value only if value in cell G3 is specified. G3 is which cell? G3 is this cell. Okay, suppose if I try to enter something, Excel is not allowing me to enter the data. And let's learn what data validation rules we have mentioned over here. So we have using it a customized validation criteria. We are saying that G3 should not be blank. Okay, if G3 is blank, let me just again show you. So $G $3, this is not, these two what we say, greater than, less than, greater than sign means not. So G3 should not be empty. If this is empty, I won't be able to enter data over here. So even if I say maybe 6, then I can enter any data in this particular cell. Now another special condition which we'll be showing today over here is, like, either you can enter data in this cell or you can enter data in this cell. If I enter data in this cell, maybe something, if I try to do it, Excel won't allow me to enter data in the other cell. We just delete it. Or if I enter data into this cell, Excel won't allow me to enter data into the first cell. Now let's learn what rules we have used over here. So basically the rule which we are using is count A. Count A, you know, it's basically, it counts the number, the text, everything. Okay, count A of this cell and this cell, it should be less than 2. When we are entering data into both the cells, the count of data, it becomes more than 2. So that is why it is not allowing us to enter data into these 2 cells. In the other cell, suppose if we enter data in this cell, it is not allowing us to enter data in the other cell. Again, have a look at the formula, and all these worksheets are given to you. Again, go through it and learn more from it. Now one more criteria we will be just discussing over here. Many a times, like suppose when you enter a right password and right username, you get a tick or a cross kind of a symbol. Okay, now we'll just learn how to do that in Excel. Like, see, as soon as I remove the username and the password, I am getting a thumbs down. Okay, and as soon as I just enter my name, Rahul Raina, I am getting a victory. Again, password is down sign, and again Rahul Raina, so I will also get a victory sign over here. This is a very nice way to format things in Excel. Okay, now basically if I select this, okay, Now how it has to be done, I'll just show you. I'll just copy this, Control C, Control V. Okay, now first thing is you have to select a text box. Okay, one sec. To select a text box. See the formula which we are using over here. Equal to if C12 is equal to Rahul Raina, give A, otherwise give B. And like suppose if this is a username where we will mention our username, and this is a place where we will mention our password, what we are doing is we are using an if formula. Okay, like this should be equal to Rahul Raina. This is our logical condition. If the value in cell C15 is equal to Rahul Raina, we are asking Excel to use A, otherwise use D. Okay, so Excel has used D. Now this is basically a text box, and now how to get this value in a text box, that we'll learn. Equal to D, enter. Now the D value is in the text box. Suppose if we use Rahul Raina, the value in the text box is A. I'll just remove the outline, shape outline, I'll just remove, no outline, and I'll just change the formatting to, instead of Calibri, I'll just change it to Windings. Or maybe Webdings. Okay, in this case it was Windings, so in this case it's Webdings. So in the same way I can use it down as well. I think this is P, which gives you a cross or something like that. In this case it's Windings 11, so let me just use same thing only. Windings 12, so I'll just use Windings 12 only I'm using. Why then it is not coming? It should show me a arrow. F2 G12. G12 is this. Okay, this is I think a bigger A and smaller A is making the difference. Yeah, now it is coming. Okay, you saw this. Again I'll just change to Windings, and instead of this I'll just use a bigger A and a bigger D. Then you can easily color these color these things. You can also make it bold. So when I am putting a Rahul Raina as a username, it is giving me a victory. When I am putting any blank password, it is giving me a down sign, or even if I put a wrong password, it will give me a down sign. So I need to put the right password in order to get the victory sign. Okay, this is the way how you can combine if logical condition with text box as well as change of some fonts. Okay, so I just wanted to share this thing with you. So now I think you have learned it. Now let's learn something about the data validation with cell references. Now let's assume these are some items, and cost of each item is given over here, and we are saying that maximum budget allowed is 1500. Okay, this is 1494. So if I put around 1000 bucks over here, it is give me an warning like budget limit exceeded. You have gone over the allowed budget. Either decrease one of your expense items cost or adjust the maximum budget value. Okay, so this will also learn how to do this thing in Excel. For that, what we'll do, we'll to first select the cell, go to data validation, and we have used this as the formula, that is equal to sum of all these four numbers should be less than equal to this number. Okay, like if I use equal to this minus sum, so in the cell I can add $5.19, so $5.19 I can add and there won't be any issue. But even if I do 5.20, it will give me an error alert. Okay, so this is the way how data validation function works. And you can also see the input message over here. No, so error alert is budget limit exceeded. You have gone off over the allowed budget. Either decrease one of your expense item cost or adjust the maximum budget value. Okay, I think you have understood these few things about data validation, and now you'll use this thing in your daily life when you will be making worksheets and when you will be circulating these worksheets among your friends, so that there should not be any formula errors. So regarding the customized lists, I'll again share some worksheets and some video lectures with you so that you can understand why it is necessary to have the same kind of data in a particular Excel sheet when you're circulating it among the lots of salespeople of yours, and because it will help, it will be easy for you to consolidate the data and submit a report to the management. Suppose if you are working for some company, submit a report to the management. Okay, so thanks a lot for your attention, and hope you have understood this lesson, and we'll keep on learning and becoming awesome in Excel. So thanks a lot for your attention.